Is it just me or there's no sound? Okay, welcome back to the WESPAC main events live here in Accra. Ghana. My name is I'm your copy. I can assure you we are back and we are ready to move. So we see this game have gone a bit far. Screen here we have Alan Paul from Scotland, I believe, and we see Godwin Victor from Nigeria. I believe we saw Godwin Victor yesterday with George Ezinore. So I believe Alan started first with Hayu for about 12 points, and Godwin responded with Yam. And thereafter, we saw Lady come down, and then Beast, then Batik, G, Oni. And the first bingo we had for this game was from Godwin Victor, Droxia for 77 points. And Allen responded with Twee, and we got Ogla in return. Then Daniel, Wild, then AUE from Alan, and I believe there was an exchange from Godwin. And Paul Allan returned played Days for 40 points, and Godwin played AX for 42 points. And now it's back to Alan. He played Dong with the D hooking the base. Okay, with the D hooking the base 30 points. And with a rank of NEEU high S blank, we've seen the second bingo come down from Victor once again. Lead ensued for 65 points. All right, so what do you think about this game so far, Coinsola?
I think it has been an explosive one, especially from Godwin Victor. He's a very brilliant player, and yes, we saw him on stream yesterday, and yes, I think it has been amazing from him so far.
Yeah, absolutely. So now I see Alan might be running into a bit of all consonants. We see clunky towels here, even though he has the two S's, he has no go and he's having the Q. What would you
Through the eye from a suit, yeah, that way just keep PRST and hope for vowels.
say? Keynes is not really a bad idea, but I see him setting up PST. Curious to see where PST might really work on this board. So playing kings is not really it's not a bad idea actually. Playing out the Q and one of the S's, cashing in 15 points, and of course he has a good leave of PRST. So let's see what he comes up with.
So okay, yes, for context, Alan Paul happens to be himself um, currently is ranked 50th in the world currently, and he plays fifth at the Scotland 2025 National Championship. So he's a brilliant player, an amazing player.
Wow, that is very correct and that is very nice. Also, I saw Godwin on stream yesterday, and I believe he played out of eight games so far, is on two losses and having six wins. I think we saw the stream where he played with George Ezinore and he lost to George, and he also played with Femi Awade where he also lost to Femi. So far he's on six wins, two losses. Right. So I believe Alan played SUQ instead. What do you think about that move, Coin?
I mean, Sook is not bad. Two tiles from the bag. I really don't think that's nice, especially because teams would have been better.
Exactly, I thought so too. So you might have a logic behind that one, but we're not so sure. So immediately we are saying relic. Okay, I think he's changed his mind. Okay, I think he's still going for relic. Okay, might be a little indecisive on this one. Also, I see he has just one vowel, so that might be a bit confusing. Okay, so I believe he went for relic. Relic scores just 16 points, leaving GRS. And now it's back to and now it's back to Alan, the rank of HINPRST. What would be your movie coin?
Considering the fact that the letter I is the only vowel he has, I really don't think he should sacrifice it. I think doing something as simple as up through the O from down, I think that's nice. And it looks like that's what he did. Up for 21.
Okay, up it is, leaving INRST indeed. So now it's back to Victor. He has a rank of RSGEFOC. Okay, so if he's willing to use his S for this turn, he could play fresh, leaving G with the S. Okay, point within the but another option.
You might want to be a little bit defensive and go for something different.
Exactly. Fresco does take the hook of S. So he might want to think about that, considering there's still, I believe, one S in the bag, one S on same. So he might be going for something else. And I believe Paul has that S. Interesting. So we see him going for frogs instead. Okay. And that has been committed for 31 points, leaving CE.
And with the looks of things, it looks like the game is tilting in Godwin Victor's direction. Yeah, I think he has the control in this game. You know, he's leading by a lot. Even one bingo would not um, make him lose the lead. So yes, I think he's tilting in his direction.
Yeah, I think you're correct. I believe Victor is on 400 points and Alan 223. And I believe Alan might be running into a bit of issue. He has INRSTTV. Okay, what do you think he should play here?
I don't think he has a lot of options. You know, so if he's looking to still play a bingo, he could do something as simple as vint through the eye from relic, or playing vint itself, but then dropping his only consonant. I really don't think he would want to do that. But if he's looking to take scores, he could do vints for 32 points.
Okay, considering the thousand thing, I'm not sure if he would still be able to bingo. But then, if he's willing to get his hopes up, he might want to event through the Eye of Relic, like you said, for 14 points, leaving IRST. Other than that, I believe he could play Vince with the T hooking the Relic for Relics, and that would score him about 32 points, leaving RT. But I believe he has, he made an interesting move. I think he's going for grit, GRIT. What do you think about that coin?
Yeah, seems fine to me. I think it's a setup, you know. I think considering he has the last S here, so that's what he can do to just score a couple of points. Is it a great setup? Not really sure, but yeah, looks like it's a setup. Someone in chat said he was looking at no more ease, right? I believe person was referring to Godwin Victor when he played frogs. Yes, I think that's what he must have been thinking.
Possibly. So now back to Victor with a rank of C. Okay, I see the obvious move of column COE Elohim is E can Oka will score him at 1 point. It does open the triple lane underneath.
Yeah, I really don't think he'll be worried about that because looking at the tiles on scene from his point of view, they don't look like, unless there's a crazy word somewhere, you know, Scrabble can be very funny, but these tiles do not look like bingo like tiles. So I really don't think he'll be worried about opening the triple lane, especially because grid, you know, the setup of grids has been made. And so Alan would most likely play there instead of coming on that column. So taking his 41 points, I think that's the move.
Yeah, I do see him. I think he's trying to calculate his score through that up extension for hope. So I think what you said is absolutely correct. He might just go ahead and play column for 41 points. You know, considering the tiles we had on scene, I believe I knew Haaland won't have synergic tiles enough to make a bingo, even though he did set up the grid. This must be very devastating for Alan.
Yeah, I really don't think there was much that he could do.
Okay, I see you, Philip Morris, in the chat. Thank you for watching. Okay, so we might say this is a done deal for Victor.
Yes, yes, yes. There's no coming back for Alan, you know. He just has to brace up and go into the next game and hope he wins that one. But this game, no.
Very correct. Now I see Victor, both players actually have the same timing sort of, and yesterday while on stream with Excel, we mentioned about how Nigerians tend to play faster, and I think it varies though, because in most games you really do have to take your time and make sure you're playing the best. But for the most part, I think Nigerians play fast on the average.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's because of the seriousness of the end game. You know, they want to have enough time going into the end game to think, critically and analyze. So I think that's the factor that contributes to them playing very fast at the beginning of the game.
Exactly, exactly. All right, so let's see what Victor does play for this round.
Yeah, he's really taking his time on this one.
I think he might be trying to play the best, but playing column for 41 points leaving in is not a bad idea. In fact, it's the top choice he could play, knowing most of the. I think if he does play that leaving in, the remaining tile we aim will be F, and which it could easily play out. I see about 2, 3 spots it could play. So column is indeed a top choice.
He has about 40 seconds left on his clock.
Yeah, it does. I think he's okay. He's yet to set up column.
Yes, he hasn't.
Wow. Why do you think is taking so much time?
I really cannot say. Looking at the scores, 223 to is 400. Uh, okay, he does something different. He does talk instead.
Wow.
I think he was looking to take out the to block the setup, kind of. But then,
That's not really necessary at this
exactly,
point.
I really don't think it's necessary.
The most Alan could play right now is to play POS from that same setup of grit for 33 points. Either ways, that doesn't secure his win for this round.
Yeah, it doesn't really do much. Yeah. Like we said, the game is uh this Victor's game, you know.
Exactly. Did you think he didn't see the word column, or do you think he had another thought process in
I
mind?
think he was really fixated on finding a way to take out the setup. I think that's what he was doing. Although, even if he played column, it would take his cost about 430 something or 440 something. So, even with a times nine, obviously there are no spots for times nine, but even with a times nine of 200, Allen will still not win. So, I think he really did not have to just score 11 to take out that spot. Column seems like it was perfect at that point.
Exactly. So we see Alan going for Vivo for 20 points, and it's back to Victor with MOLE, I believe. Okay, so he did pick the last F in the bag, and he's going for FON. This scores 14 points. Okay, back to Alan. We see PNST, and he played Pists. And immediately we see Victor playing Mo.
It's funny because he has just 1 second left on his clock.
Yeah, I see that.
I think if the time is spent on figuring out a way to take out the grid setup,
Mm-hmm.
which was not necessary, but wonderful play from Droxia to Bays. Yes, this was an interesting game to watch. Although it looked like it was one-sided.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we saw Droxia come down from Victor, we saw Ensued, and he played beautifully well as well. I could also say Alan played well, but
Yeah.
this was not just his game.
Yeah, I think he was really struggling to get his head back in the game, but Scrabble does wonderful things at times.
Exactly. So that is another win for the Nigerian. This has been a beautiful game from the beginning to the end. So stay tuned while we bring the next round. I believe that should be round 10. All right. See you soon.